Episode 3.
Unos, dos,
Tres.
Okay.
It's a 3, Rev.
It's the three. Okay. Dave's gonna read out the questions. What?
Reasons for the name Half Certain Podcast.
Yeah. So, we had a few
We
ideas.
talked about this last week, wasn't it? AI.
No, but tell them like the initial names that we went through. So we went through, what was the first thing? No, nothing.
No, nothing, I think was one of them.
Why? That was
2 black belts, 1 purple belt.
No.
2 blacks, 1 purple.
But you had a podcast before.
Don't know what you're on about.
Oh, bro.
Don't know what you're on about.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I did, but like I said, I get asked for the links for it, like here and there, like, and I'm like, yeah, I get asked for the sneaky link. But,
Yeah.
give me that. But yeah, nah. Maybe. Just maybe. You never know.
But that was already taken on the Instagram handle. And then what was the other one that we thought of? Mildly certain.
Yeah, mildly certain, but someone already took it or something.
It was mine mildly.
Fuck, this sounds bad already. No, it's all good.
Mildly certain. That was taken. And then we used AI to come up with half certain. And then it's actually a good name that we thought of because it's like, there's always that one guy at the gym that's like so certain on the technique or like so certain on something like, oh yeah, this is the way to do it. And those are usually people you shouldn't listen to, yeah? Because usually with everything, it's a bit of a gray area, no black and white, you know what I mean? With most things.
There's some wiggle room.
Yeah.
No,
have you ever...
It's black and white.
Black and white.
No, it's black and white. The grey area is what we... Is the little lies or the sort of wool we pull over our eyes to tell ourselves it's not black and white. Long story short, it works or it doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
But remember...
But okay, so getting back to the whole root of the question, why the half certain? Is it because we're half certain on things?
Yes.
So there's always that one guy. So okay, you probably put it like this: there's that one guy that's 100% certain, and you get that guy who's just not certain, and then is this where half certain is?
So the idea is that when you don't listen to the guy that's fully certain on things, because they usually are just talking complete rubbish, yeah? Like the guy that's like, oh, you got to do this specific thing. But you listen to the half certain people because when you usually ask them, they're like, oh, there's multiple ways to get something done. There's multiple ways to skin a cat, yeah? And that's why we call it half certain, yeah?
Ooh.
Whether we are half certain is another question, yeah? But yeah, that's the name.
Oh, that's the name. Look, second question: have you ever training while injured? that sounds retarded. That sounds retarded. Who fucking wrote that?
I was gonna
you did.
I was gonna do like, what's the worst injury?
Using fucking auto
We'll
correct.
do both. We'll do, have you ever trained while injured? And then what's the worst, your question
The
after
worst
that.
one for me was the collarbone. I was out for like.
Yeah,
quite a
how
few
did you
months.
do your collarbone, dude?
I had a
That's,
Kimura.
is that when you got that mean ass Asian haircut, like the bowl cut?
That's when I went full.
That arc
Britney
was
Spears and shaved my hair.
Full Britney
I was
Spears.
on the Kimura like this, and then I could feel he was bumping me forward, but then instead of letting go, I was like, nah, I'm keeping this. And I just fell straight on my shoulder. Heard a pop.
Finished the round, and then after I was like touching.
Oh,
it,
so your shoulder broke your fall?
Yeah. And I was touching it. I'm like, fuck, that's like popping out, eh? And that's a
Oh,
good.
my shoulder's popping. It's like fucking.
Yeah.
Nice.
You've had quite a few injuries.
Yeah,
Some knee injuries.
Yeah, knee was the most serious one. I did obviously have disc issues. Like, I remember when I herniated. I think I herniated one of my discs, and this was like after doing heavy deadlifts, squats, and then rolling in the gym after, and then like fucking getting stacked repeatedly and just being stubborn and not letting them pass the guard, and then like 2 hours after the open mat, like I was like, what the fuck? Why am I like hunched over like this?
Herniated means it's like compressed.
No, herniated just means, it's another word, like there's multiple different types of disc protrusions, yeah?
L4, L5S1.
Yeah,
That's the ones I got.
Yeah.
I probably got some shit. I got some shit in my cervical spine as well, but like,
It just means it's just like, there's different categories,
Shrugs.
but the idea is that it's just protruding, yeah? Protruding, so it's like you have your disc and it's supposed to sit in a particular way, and then usually when too much compression or too much force is used, it just protrudes out.
hits the nerve.
Out of place. Sometimes it can hit the nerve,
Sometimes it
doesn't have
yeah,
to,
and then we don't get those symptoms.
Yeah,
We don't.
yeah.
Yeah. That and ACL and meniscus. Like, yeah, I've always trained around that as well. Like, even when I tore my ACL, I remember that day, like cartwheeling out of a single leg. Not the smartest thing to. Yeah, that was the funniest one. And I remember because he's like, he had me in a guillotine like for like the next 3 minutes, and then I remember just to get out, and he's like, bro, I think I done my elbow trying to strangle you, and I go, bro, I just did my knee, and he's like, oh what? And I go, bro, I done my knee, bro. Like, and it's like, wow. I didn't even. That's the thing. I was like, I'm surprised I managed to hold on to the end of the round. I was like, yeah, just go to half guard, come up to the dogfight, and act busy. Huh? No, I do not have footage of that. Like, I wish I did, but it was funny because I was watching like Saitiev, like cartwheel out of singles, and I was like, yeah, fuck. Like for like a month, I was watching that. I was like, yeah, nah, I can do that. I can do that. But even then, like I still trained around that. Yeah. Even coming back from surgery.
You came 4 months back
Yeah.
up. Bit
Yeah, did a little bit. No. I'd be honest. Yeah, I juiced up a bit.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's always interesting.
But I shouldn't have been competing like that. Like the range of motion was so limited. But it helped me with a lot of things. Like I had to get really good at passing to one side.
Yep.
And really get good at stapling half guard, hook, etc. Helped me with the leg pummeling actually.
Does it still? Do you still think about it when rolling?
Yeah, of course. It's always there in the back of my head.
Does it stop you from doing anything?
Nah, not really. No. If anything, I just have to be mindful of things. Like when I'm in certain positions, I just need to be mindful, particularly when I'm going with certain people.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've seen me like if somebody gets a rare clinch from me and I just know they're lower belt and they're really spastic.
Yeah.
Immediately, I'm framing on the near side leg and just walking away and just like
That's
just
probably
waiting.
why also like you're a bit more when new people come with the wrestle. Because the wrestle's probably going to be there. All the outside trips, all the stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, if I see if there's a class full of beginners and there's stand-up going on, I'm just before the rolls start, I explain to them the list of band techniques and what to refrain from doing.
Spastic behavior.
Spastic behavior, yep, exactly. Spastic behavior. Anyways, enough about that.
Yeah.
What about you, Stephen?
Yeah, what was the worst one?
Yeah. What about you?
Your neck?
No, so man, I've
neck,
had
your
a
back?
few. Meniscus are always, I've done both my meniscus by rehab. That one was locking, but I didn't have to get surgery for that. I just rehabbed it and went
meniscus.
away. And then on top of that, I did my neck disc protrusion on my C6, C7, and I was
When
able
did you do that?
maybe...
Wasn't the first time, like the first
Holy
time we ever did wrestling, I like sprawled on your neck and then
No. It was. I think it was with Bob and he got me in a guillotine, and then
just
the next
just
day,
full on. Just
The thing is,
adjusted you.
I didn't feel it after, but then I went, and then the next day I like couldn't sleep for 2 weeks.
What's your range of motion like?
I know range of motion's good. I just have decreased sensation in my thumb.
Yeah, see, that's a fucked one, eh? Like, because I get this.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is. Like, this is when you start... Fuck, look at all these people. These people are going to be just like, oh, yeah, it's sweet. He's got a fuck neck. He's got to fuck this. No, but you start to think about it, eh? Like, you're like, bro, is this shit worth it?
Yeah. For
Like,
sure.
even sometimes if I would sleep wrong, I would wake up in the morning, this whole arm's just like... Zzz.
Yeah. It's actually cooked.
That's why I have to do a lot of neck exercise. Like,
Yep.
I'm religious on shrugs and shit like
Yep.
that. It was you got a strong neck, and I'm like, yeah, there's a few reasons.
It's so important.
Yeah.
But then the neck, both meniscus, but one was a bit worse than the other. And then recently, just the back's been cooking me.
I like how, like, we already agree on the one thing. We all know we've all got fucked ankles.
Oh, ankles, yeah. Ankles,
We all know we got fucked ankles.
Ankles is not even a thing to bring up. Like when
it's
someone
just-
comes like,
It's just how many ankle locks have you eaten?
Yeah. Toe holds and all that stuff, I'm just like, oh yeah, they'll recover fast. But like, yeah, and then the back, and I'm gonna go and get surgery for the back. Back's been bothering me for a while. But should be good. The comeback will be good.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Should we go next question?
Yes.
Oh, it's not written down, but what was your first jiu-jitsu competition like? Set the stage.
Fucking,
We'll go Jimmy first.
That was a funny one for me. It was back home in New Zealand in Hamilton.
What year? What year it was?
This is probably 2016, I think. I was a wipeout. Pardon me. Yeah, it was 2016. So Hamilton's like an hour out of Auckland. It's pretty much like a drive from the Goldie, from Brisbane to the Goldie, or Brisbane to Sunny Coast, whatever. So we go on a carload full of us. So one of my best friends, two of my friends, well, three. It was myself, Johan, my friend Sean, and Cameron. They were there. So we were all wipeouts. They were all on the tail end of their wipeouts, and I had just sort of started.
How many months have you been training for?
Like under a year, like I'd say 7 months, and it was a sub only. It was a sub only comp, so no gi, which was pretty cool. Like, because at the time, like, you know, EBI just came in. It was new craze and all this no gi sub only. I remember going there and I got armbarred in 8 minutes because there was no time limit. So, you know, and that day there was some good matches going on. Like we saw like 2 chicks like scrap for an hour and a half.
Nice.
Yeah, one judo black belt chick and MMA chick. She's now at American Top Team, and I think she's fighting in the PFL. This chick was an athlete, and then the chick she was fighting was a black belt. The black belt won, obviously, but like it's like you got to see some cool matches at the time. I remember seeing like the first twister roll, seeing a twister, a toe hold, and I was like, what? I was like, wow, I've only seen this on YouTube, and I'm actually seeing it in person.
Twister.
What was your game plan coming in? Were you a guard puller? What were you
I
trying
don't
to
know.
go
I was just trying to. To be honest, I was just trying to get to the truck and banana split people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My game was
Eddie
a ruthless.
Bravo?
Yeah, like as I started to like my game, like as a white belt, like it was. Once I realized I had a guard that worked for me, it was an X guard. It was a pull to X guard. Get the underhook sweep, underhook both legs and sweep, and then come up for a double unders.
Yeah.
Immediately double unders, stack past the guard, take the backward strangle.
Oh, the
or-
Gary Tonin special
Yeah,
that he
or-
hit on Kron.
Yeah, or just stack ruthlessly, jump to the truck and banana split or calf slicer. Because you're allowed a calf slicer at these comps at white belt. And I buzzed out. I was like, what? And because I had started calf slicing some of the belts, the higher belts in the gym, like the blues and purples, and they'd always throw wobblies at me. They're like, you can't do that. They can't do that till you're a black belt. I was like, technically brown, but I used to pull them. Yeah.
Did you hit it off? Did you hit
No,
anyone with
I
it?
got armbarred in 8 minutes, bro.
Oh, so it was just one match?
Yeah, one match. And then I remember watching that dude win that day, and he got his blue belt. But funny thing, my last comp before I left New Zealand, I actually fought that guy as a blue belt and beat him twice in one day.
The
I
rematch.
wrist locked him. Yeah, I triangle armbarred him and wrist locked him in the final.
That's criminal.
But long story short, yeah, I got armbarred. I got my arm popped, and I remember sitting in the back of the car, stoned and sad. Like I was the only one in the car, I think, that lost that day. I think no, my mate Sean had got straight ankled, but my two other mates had won some matches as well. I remember Jared. Yeah, Jared was there that day. As
Oh,
well.
really?
Yeah. He beat. He
What
beat
belt
both-
would he have been
They were
then?
white belts, bro. This is so he armed. I think he arm triangled Johan, and he straight ankle locked Cam. The way he straight ankle locked Cam was Cam and took his backbone and then he crossed his legs.
yeah, that one, a classic.
So if Jared, if you're watching this, I remember that. But yeah, that was my first comp. I just remember coming home sad, like in the car, stoned, stoned in the back of the car. Yeah,
How about
that's
your
my
first
first
one?
comp.
I've never heard yours.
I was at an MMA gym, like a McDojo. I did lockdown.
Oh,
And
was this under Shindo?
Yeah. Yeah, in the cage, yeah. I won that one. It was good.
You got photos of it? I'd
Nah,
love to see
bro,
photos of it.
friggin'.
Go back through the lockdown. Should we just go back through the lockdown archives? But we're going to do this. I know you're going to
Right.
find it. We're
I
gonna
did-
find
back
it now.
then, I think that was 2016.
Alright, sweet.
Same here.
Yeah.
Sweet, we're going to go find it now.
Yeah,
Pull
I
that
don't
up.
even think those records weren't even like listed. But I didn't get any subs. It was just more MMA. Yeah, just controlling, taking them down, and then just controlling. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, that was a weird gym, bro. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, yeah.
I think my first one, it was 2019 grappling injuries. I was like 63, 64 kilos. I was like super, super skinny. And I actually had pretty good guard retention. All I knew was like armbar and triangle. And I was just trying to hit armbar. Yeah.
What GI? Brisbane GI?
Yeah, it was the one in...
Somerville?
Yeah, Somerville House, mate. I actually met Matthew Tesla.
Oh, dude. So yeah. Okay, so I just got him back from Japan then, and I had a private with him the day before.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I remember that day. Devin didn't compete. I remember I forgot who won the absolute that day. I
I can't remember.
But I remember Tesla. Like I did a private with him, me and my other friend, and it was a good 2-hour private. Like after that private, I could see why like those guys why they were so good at jiu-jitsu. Just the approach, real methodical, and what he had shown us in the private, he had done to that guy.
Yeah.
I think it was Will Briggs he fought when Will Briggs got his black belt like the
I just
next
remember
day.
it was the 185-pound division. And I remember...
That dude got his black belt the next day, bro.
Oh, shit.
After getting whipped like 30-40-0 both matches.
Yeah. I just remember being in the warm-up stage, and then I didn't know who he was at the time. He's like a Henzo Gracie brown belt. He's like fought Gordon, he's fought Oliver Tazi, he's fought like some high-level people. I just remember he was like looking at me, and he wanted to drill on me. And he was like putting me in heel hooks and stuff like that, and obviously I had no idea what was going on. But I just remember he had like this super intense stare, and then my friend was like, oh, he's like a high level, he's like a Henzo Gracie brown belt. And I was like, oh,
We had a chick with him as well, so it's probably like, yeah.
I don't know.
I gotta get. He's like, out of this, I'm fucking. Yeah. He's like, yeah. I gotta show her that I'm about this. I'm actually good. I haven't been talking shit.
He had that crazy like intense
No,
stare
it
to
was
him,
like it was like so intense. Like everything.
yeah,
had
like I was kind of scared. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, dude, when I first started coming here for actually open mats, I had by my third training, I had this was the first day I met him. I trained twice that day, and then I got real stoned. And came here with my mate. And we went to train, and then my other mate, I think Nick McAllister, comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, that guy over there has been killing us." And I go, "I recognize that guy. That's Matt Tesla. I've seen him in Gary's Corner." Gary's Corner EBI. I saw he fought Gordon at the Sapatero. Yeah, he even beat Jason Rao. Yeah, one of the Sapatero one. He inside heel hooked Jason Rao.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, that was the one he fought. Also fought Craig like put him in an armbar as well. Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, this is, and he won a machine gun, bro. He said he won a fucking massive machine gun. Yeah, Josh Ludick, bro, giving dudes machine guns, bro. He said he sold it.
Well, like a live action.
Yeah, bro.
Wait, when did he fight Craig? What?
I think this was I think it must have been maybe 17, 18, maybe.
On a Sapatero?
Yeah, Sapatero, because there was one he won. Yeah, but either way, yeah, Matt Tesla, right? Yeah.
Shout out him.
And that was your first comp, though.
That was my first
How
comp.
did you go?
I won the gi. I fought like two not very good people, fortunately, and I got an armbar, and I think I got a triangle.
Oh, nice.
And then in the no-gi, I got 4. I actually managed to pull off a reverse triangle in the no-gi.
Oh, from bottom side control?
I'd never practiced it. You know the one Braulio does?
Yeah.
Because I looked up. I was like,
That's
who's
my
the-
favorite one to finish.
Yeah, I looked up like who's the best jiu-jitsu guy, and it came up with Gordon. And then I saw that his second highest or third highest submission was the reverse triangle. And then I googled it, and then I was in the comp, and I'm like, I think I'm in the position. And then I got it, and then I ripped on his neck, and I got the tap.
I got him, and I ripped on his neck.
And I've never hit one since. So it's
True.
pretty cool.
That's pretty solid.
True.
Yeah.
See,
I think I've got footage of it, so I
see,
can put that up.
these people winning their first fucking comps.
Nah.
Fuck yous.
I
hate people winning their first match and their first comp. I get real angry about it. Like, dude, we get Quentin, bro. I remember last year his first ever comp, the States as a white belt, and he wins the States, and I'm like, fuck you, cunt. And he won it again. Good on him.
But what year was that?
2019, May 2019. Yeah,
That was first time. I actually think
I think I was 5 months. Yeah, it would have been 5 months, 6 months.
I think there's something to actually like, at least in MMA, I think actually not winning your first fight, I don't know, from what I've seen, it actually translates better in the long term. Yeah.
I think it keeps you level. It keeps you level-headed because, to be honest with you, winning, like, yeah, it's good being there. But if it's the thing is, then now you sort of get caught up in your own smoke. You stop. It's like you sort of become oblivious to your own shortcomings in a way, because you're like, when you win, you're like, oh yeah, cool, and you're like, yeah, I'm winning, fuck, cool, but you don't think about, okay, am I reverting back to habits here? How is the person I'm actually beating? That also is a reflection as well. It's like you can get away with really bad habits if the person is not really a decent skill level to actually make you pay for those habits.
Yep.
That's the thing. It's like when you win and then you shouldn't, you won, but it's like, that wasn't actually really good. Like there will be matches, there will be some GIs I'd win and I'd get angry, and someone was like, why are you angry? It's like, bro, I did not pass a guard today. I did not pass a single fucking guard today, and I've been working on my guard passing, like stuff like that. So
Well, I think there's something to like even the fact that when you come up against the people that you versed previously and then you beat them, like they win the comp and then you verse them again like in a year's time, and then you just like pretty much your case and you just absolutely mauled the guy. That's pretty cool to see, because you can be like, oh, they had success at the start, but they probably didn't, as you said, address like issues, and you've just been chipping away addressing issues. Getting beaten up. Yeah.
well, you look at JDM.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, dude, first 2 losses, like first 2 fights, like going 0-2, and then just boom, undefeated, like just on a massive. Like, how many was the win streak now? 15.
Yeah, something ridiculous. Yeah,
Pretty much to the title.
yeah,
Just a mean one life, like one HP run.
Yeah.
Just like one life, like no hit.
Probably too the fact that like if you've lost that much at the start, you got to make a decision of whether you want to actually do it or not. It weeds out whether you're actually keen on it or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
The situation reveals the man to himself.
Like, there's a cool clip of Yuri Simões talking about it, and I think he lost his first like 20 comps or something. And to lose 20 comps and still be like, I'm gonna keep competing until I win, like you have to have like some strong mental strength.
I've said that with a lot of people as well. Just having that commitment. Yeah.
Do you find that they do better long term? Because you would have seen as a teacher, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. If anything, they become skill-wise very technical. I will say that. Yeah, they're very technical. But then you get certain individuals as well that just doesn't happen for them. You know,
Yeah.
it just doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. But you also got to take into an account certain factors:
Yeah.
age, you know, body type,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Age, body type, personality.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
That's going to be a massive thing. But
Yeah. Okay. Next question.
What's a boring part of jiu-jitsu you secretly love? Drilling arm bars for 50 minutes, watching instructionals for two times speed. I think this is your question.
Yeah, I think. Someone messaged that in the group. They wanted us to answer it.
you think one of your students, Dave?
Yeah, you one of your students. Yeah. Probably watching a boring part of jiu-jitsu that I like. Probably positional, but I like positionals not that boring. Yeah, I actually like positionals quite a lot, and then probably
It's grindy.
Yeah, probably just watching instructionals.
I think early on, I used to like pick a jiu-jitsu guy, like I don't know, like Half Amanda's Marcelo, and then I go through his BJJ Heroes record, and then I try and go through every single match, everyone I can find, and then I just do that for like all the greats and stuff. And then you find like some cool tech and like it's good match history and stuff.
Nice.
But I remember back in that day, it was hard to find matches because I
Yeah.
didn't have like Billy, I didn't have.
Well, just because the internet then as
Yeah.
well, we weren't as really as spoiled. Like we somewhat were, but it wasn't readily as available as now, where it's just boom, instant.
Shout out Billy and VK.
Yeah, if you want free matches, Billy, which is like Chinese YouTube, and VK, which is like Russian Facebook. After I found that, I found so many matches, so many instructions that helped me a lot.
Sack flow.
Yeah, don't pay for flow.
Don't worry, they're not gonna see this. They're not big
It's
enough.
alright, you kids.
Yeah. What about you?
I think it's doing the tedious things, like actually doing the stuff that's like at the fundamental level. Like,
Yeah.
like just drilling the move, man. Drilling the move. Like, even if it's the smallest thing, like even if it's like windshield wipering in a way where you're windshield wipering inside the legs, but keeping your knee connected to the shin so they can't repummel back inside. Stuff like that. Those things, like, is boring
Yeah.
and tedious. Like, at the time, you don't like it.
Yeah.
At the time, you're not enjoying it, but in the long run, you do. You appreciate it. I think that's the thing. But I always look at it as like you appreciate it in the long run, not in the short term. Then and there, you just have to. It's like, you know, it's just the discipline of doing the boring things or the things you don't like, but you know it's beneficial for you. You know, should be doing that more outside of the mats actually.
Probably guard retention then, yeah. I remember guard retention at the start was pretty boring.
I actually liked guard retention.
You like guard retention?
Yeah.
I like guard retention.
Because it was just going upside down for me and grabbing on and just don't let them get past the legs. Like, wow, you're really good at inverting. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going upside down and just not letting them.
I used to think getting sacked was inverting, so I'd let myself get sacked. I'm like, oh, I'm inverting, I'm so good. It's just like, oh, I'm just getting fucked.
Just sack this guy. I'm just getting fucked.
But in my first comp, I got sacked so many times. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing well. Like, just suck. Thoughts on fusion and combat jiu? You just went to that event, right?
Yeah. That's why I thought it was a good question. I feel like, man, it just seems like more of JIT is ending up as adopting MMA. Yeah, it seems like that's like a reflection. I was just watching the combat JITs, and it seems like there's still a lot of areas lacking. The JITs guys don't know how to do the wall wrestling as good. That's fair.
The cage wrestling.
Yeah,
Wall
cage.
wrestle.
Yeah, cage. Yeah. They don't know how to use it's all upper body, like riding them out with the upper body rather than using legs and hips to actually like put weight on them. However, that's the one thing I noticed. There's still a big gap, but it seems like JIT is going to a bit more MMA, and it's probably like the idea of Gordon being like, you know, being on top is the best. So you just see people adopting that. I feel like guard passing is going to make a bit more of a comeback. I feel like outside passing is really big at the moment, and a lot of people are not developing their...
It's the best for MMA.
Yeah.
Because you're consistently flattening them out.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, the person has to get up through you.
Yeah.
Whereas you, if you're going around the guard, like, the weight's not really on them.
Yeah.
Oh, and even if it is, they can still get up they can wrestle up, or they just expose their back to get up. And the thing in MMA, like, guys are really good at dealing with that. And I think that's why I said jiu-jitsu, the jiu-jitsu mindset has sort of been detrimental in a sense, because it's prevented people from developing certain skills, because it's always preventing problems from happening.
Yeah.
You're preventing the problem from happening, But then the problem is now you're not going to be in that when you don't get in that scenario often. You're not going to develop a system or actually a skill set to actually deal with that problem once you were put there.
Yeah.
This is why I said wrestlers are always good at dealing with the front headlock. They're good at getting up. They're good at 4-pointing up.
Yeah.
The reason being is because their rule set pushes for that. They don't have the threat of submissions, but they can now take the risk because it rewards the risk of the takedown, and it rewards the risk of getting on top. So if I shoot in on you and you go put me in a front headlock, I'm fine. I'm happy to deal with that because now I've been in a rule set where I've actually, which is sort of pushed for those habits to be developed. Whereas in jiu-jitsu, like I said, like a few episodes ago, if I shoot in on you and you put me in a front headlock or guillotine, I probably might pull guard.
Yeah.
But nowadays, the wrestling's been blended well and probably might sucker drag or peek out.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like going back to the thing, tight passing always will come back.
Type passing. And I think it's
Tangent,
the idea of
apologies.
like jits guys, so interesting. They just don't, the outside passing only works if the person is happy to play guard.
Well,
As soon as you start to outside pass on someone wanting to stand up.
this is the thing. This is the thing though. There's two approaches to it. Trying to pass the guard over the person that wants to be on the bottom versus trying to pass the guard of somebody who doesn't want to be on the bottom. So that's different. See that's different. That again, like it's understanding the nature of the animal or the creature you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like, but then that's another set of problems. If you're so used to dealing with people that are only that want to get up, you're going to probably be good at holding people down and all these things.
Yeah.
But then now what happens if you roll off the guy who's happy to play on the bottom and he's got a really tedious guard to deal with? It's like, oh, now you haven't developed the skill set or like, to deal with those type of problems.
Yeah.
So the mix of both is good. Knowing how to pass the guard of a person who wants to play on the bottom and knowing how to hold the person down as you're trying to progress position against the person who doesn't want to be on the bottom.
Yeah.
Like I always said to people, particularly if they're in an MMA gym or when I teach them passing, I'm like, I tell them those two things and I go, you're going to realize how fast, we're going to realize really fast how good you are at grappling when you realize you can't hold that other person down. And when you realize that other person doesn't want to grapple with you, particularly in MMA, they don't want to they don't have to grapple with you. But having said that, you don't have to strike with them.
Yeah.
Wow, that was
No,
intense.
that's
That
good.
was intense.
That's good.
But yeah, combat jits was mean though.
Yeah, it was. No, I'm just trying to develop on that. Do you think in jiu-jitsu gyms, which look do you get the most? Do you get the person willing to play guard? I
get a mix of both now.
You get a mix of
yeah,
both?
I get a good mix of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a good mix of both, which I like. I like it that way. Like when I'm rolling with you, I'm rolling with you, you're wanting to get up.
Yeah.
When I'm rolling with you, you want to play on the bottom. Now you somewhat wrestle up here and there. Which
little bit,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
like, whoa. Last week,
Mixing it up.
yeah. Last week, in between.
That was a good training session last week. Did you enjoy it?
But
You
let's-
did, bro. You did fine, buddy. I don't even know what you're talking
No, I
about.
was just glad I was the only one who actually, like, if we all took score, I was the one who came away. It's like, hey, he's taking score now. I was the only one who got a sub that day.
Yeah,
None of
you're
us
the
got-
only one that. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's the only
There was no
one.
salt. It was just sweeps and then
Sweeps and wrestle ups. Sweeps,
Yeah.
wrestle ups, near back takes, near subs.
But I like that. That's fun.
It was still good. Some good problem solving.
Well,
Anyways, we're going on a tangent.
wait.
Tangent.
Last thing. Kit Dell versus Sanji Ribeiro.
Oh, that was a good match.
What did you think about the idea that Sanji, like after he was getting tired, he kept trying to get back up? Like, or do you think he was happy to play? See, because he's good at close guard.
Well,
half
he
guard,
was happy at that, but then obviously like Kit could pass it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you think that's a fault in him not being as good at the wrestling? Or do you think it's
Yeah.
like what do you think needs to be
I reckon.
addressed?
No, I reckon yeah, and probably just. Oof. I reckon just Kit showed he had the superior grappling. I just think that's what it was. Better tactics, and just showed that his technique was superior in that sense.
Yeah. Seems like when the levels of a guard player and a guard passer are equal, it's better to be on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is because it's like it's going to be the same thing if you get same two dudes roughly the same like that dead even technique, the physicality starts coming into play.
Yeah.
These things start to happen, there's so many varying factors, there is. And then having said that, like I said, maybe tactics could always be a thing, who's more tactical. Not
Kit
necessarily.
is very tactical.
Yeah, well, that's
Very
the thing.
strategic.
Yeah, very strategic. He's the type of guy who wear you out. That's why, like in short matches, I guess, like having a short match with him, I guess that would be the best way to get him.
Oh,
blitz
Kid
him.
also fought Matthew Tesla.
Yeah,
I think
know,
around
he
that
beat him.
time.
Yeah, he beat him. Yeah, he passed this guy.
Yeah.
Passes guard.
I remember watching that match. She had really, Kit's just so good at passing that knee shield, just like keeping that pressure and just like forcing chest to
Well, yeah,
chest.
because Nick would always talk about Kit's approach to passing, and it made sense when I was training, when I would do classes with Nick on Fridays out at Northside when that was still around. Him and Devin actually were really influential in sort of a conceptual approach, like about things like. It got me sort of out of the mindset of just stop looking at the technique. Like, okay, look at all these techniques, all these guard passes. What are all the common ingredients they all have? What are the common, like, what is the criteria? What are the basic things that need criteria that need to be met for a guard pass to be considered a guard pass, takedown, sweep, etc. And I was like, huh. Then obviously watching like Danaher and Gary and stuff explaining the stuff behind, like, you know, joint locks, etc. Any straight joint lock requires the three things, you know, lever wedge, fulcrum, etc. And I was like, okay, cool.
We were actually all kind of passing in a similar way, like staying heavy on the knee shield, trying to force that chest to chest.
Was this last week?
Yeah, last week.
Well, because it was so low effort, and then because like I found myself in scenarios trying to go around the guard so much, I was getting put in entanglements.
Yeah.
And then having to have these sort of like shootouts or having to build up to like a combat base every time, and then having to stack and then disengage, then re-engage again. But then I was like, nah, I found better success actually wearing you out that way.
Yeah.
But there was still a lot of few things, like even trying to maintain a chest to chest was hard on you. I had to do some tape study last week with Wurish.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see what Urish said as well.
Yeah. I'll show you after this and stuff.
You know, it'd be an interesting match. Kit Dell versus Roberto Jimenez.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be sick, yeah.
That
Roberto
would be
just is coming off a win in the gi.
I saw that at
right,
ACB.
Dude, those highlights are crazy.
Oh, dude, that dude did a jumping triangle on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, did he beat Roberto? And then I see Roberto's hand got raised. I was like,
Dude,
yo.
is Roberto is one of the most exciting people to watch. He's always been so good.
He's a live by the sword, die by the sword type of guy.
Gets that match if Kit and Roberto.
I think if Kit can weather the storm and just consistently just wear him out, I think Kit wins that in the long term. The only way I see Roberto as winning it is if it's like a blitz.
You know, it'd be cool. Isaac versus Kit Dale. That'd be interesting. Battle of the bald head Australians.
It's a highlight of them wrestling, but I think Isaac beats him.
What,
you got
Nah. I've heard things.
Yeah.
But Roberto
But this was
just
years
beat
ago. This was
Isaac.
years ago.
What?
Roberto beat Isaac not that long ago.
Yep.
Even though Isaac beat him at the Polaris a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
when Kynan won.
Yeah.
He had that sick knee lever, eh?
Yeah.
He pulled to half and then went like lockdown to stretch the leg out and then went boom, knee lever.
And remember Fabricio Andre beat Giancarlo.
Yeah, and Owen Livesley.
Yeah.
But dude, he Uchimated Kynan.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Fuck, he's on some good gear, eh? Like, bro, to be that short and jacked, bro, like, and just the ability to put on weight, like that, it's like, bro, that's gangster. Good genetics.
How interesting is this? But like, if you look at Isaac, and even Kit, they've been focusing on wrestling. However, you've noticed that their ability to actually their control ability is great, but their ability to actually finish has become worse. They're not finished. They're just controlling really well, but they're not finishing.
This is an interesting thing. I noticed that's funny. That happened for me when I started focusing on guard passing so much, body lock and
100%.
holding people down.
Yeah.
I got obsessed with just holding people down and blanketing them, and I noticed my submission rate went down.
Yeah, me too. Same thing happened to me.
But
It's just fun controlling
It
people.
is, it
Just
is.
squishing them,
Well,
just
to be
holding
honest,
them
I think
down.
this is an energy efficient thing because you can always gas yourself out going for subs.
100%.
Like, dude, imagine going 3, 4, 5 subs, bro, for the guy just to get out every time, and you look like you're dominating him for him to just come back in the end and strangle you, bro. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah. I know that was a big tangent, but that was good. That was a good summary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I didn't even know what the question was.
Oh, I've got
What's the
another
next
good question. What's the worst injury you've inflicted on someone? They've done to someone. You probably got a few, Steve.
No. I'm trying to think. You've probably.
It's just doing knees. I've like cooking knees. Cooking knees is like, yeah,
In leg entanglements or in like wrestling?
leg entanglements. Yeah, like heel hooking people. Competition. It's just been competition. Even at the trials, bro. That last trials I did, I was I was happy with that one because it was perfect. Like, I was happy in the sense like the mechanics was so precise. Like it was all through the knee. Like by the time because I'd seen him rolling, like I had just felt him like he was just going to turn out on my outside heel. So I just cupped the front of the knee, straightened my secondary leg to like re-entangle on the roll through because I already anticipated where he was going to land. Yeah. And by the time he was going belly up, like I had already like caught the heel and bridged through the side of the knee and rotated, and I was like, fuck, I did not hear that in the ankle. I just knew it was the knee straight away, like a sharp one through the knee. I was like, yes.
That was a fun match. I remember watching that.
Yeah.
It was off the Victor's roll, right?
Yeah, I went Victor's roll. I went Wizard because he's just because you kept disengaging from me, and I was like, because I had a slide by and stuff off him, and then I was like, fuck this, and then now he was really cagey on the stand up, so I was like, nah, I'll just go give him the underhook, go Wizard, go Victor's roll, and then try to go to the saddle, and then as he tried to turn around, I was like, yeah, just pull the leg across to like a reap, and then just work from there. So it's his rotation down.
What about you?
What about you, David?
I've popped a couple ribs. Oh, I popped Lee's ribs. I was like on the back, and I had like the heel on the ribs, and then you cross the feet. This was during lockdown COVID, and I just hear like, So yeah, I feel
Minus 30 health.
Yeah, sorry about that, Lee.
I think ribs. Yeah, I've done someone's ribs, but they just charged into my knee. So that was probably they did their own
Saw a
rib.
flying knee.
Yeah.
Knee.
No, literally it was like guy retaining, and then he tried to like rush in, and then he was saying I hurt his rib. He hurt his own rib, bro. Like if someone runs into your fist, are you punching them or are they just punching themselves?
Nah, they're running into my fist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're hitting my fist with their face.
Yeah, exactly.
So he hit your knee with his ribs.
And then he cooked. And
He
then
hurt himself
Yeah,
doing
and
it.
then he was like, "Oh, I think I like fractured my ribs." And I was like, "Bro, you didn't fracture your ribs." And then we got imaging, and then he fractured his ribs. Yeah. That wasn't my fault, but his fault.
Other questions?
All right. Are belts a good thing in jiu-jitsu? What do you guys think of belts?
No. I think the idea now, like I can understand this idea of the bout is like you look at it as a journey and a progress thing, but it's like you always want to be looking at comparing yourself. As soon as you start comparing yourself to the others, then now the bout becomes It's like reality is like your hobbyist black belt, your competition blue belt can beat up the hobbyist black belt. Like that's why you look at it like this. Okay, you see a guy as a black belt, and I go, yeah, okay. Oh, a person is a black belt. Okay, what are guy, girl. Okay, how old are they? What do they do? Like, are they training? Did it take them 15, 10 years to get their black belt? Training 3 times a week, and then you get this this 18, 20-year-old who's been training 2 years, but he trains every day, twice a day. And it's like, yeah. So long story short, I reckon bouts are sort of the worst things to happen.
Yep.
To martial arts in general, because if we look at it like this, in striking sports, when do you get a bout? When do you get a bout?
Never.
No, you do get a bout. You fight for it. It's a title.
True.
It's
Yeah.
a title.
Yep.
That's a different thing in itself as well.
Yep.
Going on a little tangent here. But one thing I would like to see is a guy to win a bout, like a UFC bout, and go, nah, keep the belt. No, keep the belt. It's all good. Like, why? And I go, you want to fight me because of the belt? Okay, here, have it. Do you still want to fight me now?
Yeah.
And then that's when it goes. It's like, okay, it's more than now you're fighting against, you're trying to test your skills against the other person's skills, to sort of this contest of who has a superior technique, you know?
I think it's good, like in terms of like if you think about it
Tangent,
in business.
That's what it was for,
Yeah.
because it's sort of the carrot at the end of
Yeah,
the stick.
yeah,
You dangle it
yeah.
in front of them.
Yeah.
That's what it was, because you look at karate and taekwondo, they got heavily franchised.
Yeah.
And that watered down the quality
Yeah.
of technique
The
and
level.
yeah, it did. That's why, people always talk, oh, karate, taekwondo. It's pretty legit. Like, if you look at karate, like, back in the day, like, it's still, like, karate's responsible for, like, making a kickboxing K1, and back in the day, they had three karate guys had went over to Thailand to fight the Thais. 2 of them won, 1 of them lost.
Yep.
But that just goes to show how effective actually karate was,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does water it down, especially because there's no standard. There's no standard across the gyms. Not like calling out any gym, but some gyms might be a bit harder to get. Some gyms might be a bit easier. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I always listen to Faraz talk about this, actually. Faraz reckons, he's like, if I don't give you a purple belt, I don't think you can get a black belt.
Yeah.
He's like, I only give out purple belts if I think you can get a black belt.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he's like, oh, not to me. What the fuck? He's like, yeah, personally. Like, I was like, yeah, I was in front of the computer screen. Fuck.
He was talking to me.
He was talking to me through the computer screen. And he's like,
What's that?
nah, but like he said on his podcast, he's like, he's like, what I see a blue belt is I see you as a person who can beat up a person who doesn't know any jiu-jitsu or grappling or anything of any sense, like no training or whatever. You got to beat them up. So I understand like there is got to be a standard to be held just so the skill doesn't get watered down in that sense, you know? I understand that 100.
I remember when I first started, I remember looking up like the times it took each person to get to each belt. And I remember for the blue belt, it seemed to be if you could get it in 6 months, you're like destined for greatness. Like if you can get that, if that you get that one achievement, then you're gonna be a G.
It took me 2 years.
I remember like I was trying to speed run the blue belt. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it fast. I'm gonna do whatever I can.
Yeah. But overall, what do you think? Good or bad?
I think it's pretty good. I think it's just good to have some sort of indicator of if someone is experienced or not.
Yeah.
Like you get someone who's like no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
That you know they're a white belt. You know you got to be a bit more careful because they could be a bit retarded or something. But you know if they're blue, purple, they have at least some idea. They shouldn't be a complete idiot.
Yep.
So I think it's just a good indication of like, okay, this guy's not a spastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I agree.
Next question. Do you lift weights? Do you have to lift weights if you do BJJ? Yes.
I avoided it for a long time, and you
Yeah.
need to lift weights.
Particularly
There's
for-
no getting around it.
Yeah, combat sports. It's essential. Like, it just helps. Like, if anything, it builds a robust body, and it's like armor.
Yep.
Like, this is why if you look at it like this, if you look at other sports, particularly in footy, they're getting those boys to lift weights from a young age. By the time they're like mid-teenagers, man, they're fucking big dudes.
Yeah.
They're big boys already, going through that like massive growth spurt, you know, puberty and whatnot. And it's easier to build the athleticism at a younger age, you know?
for sure.
So that's why I reckon it is essential. The earlier you can start, the better. Because, like, I understand if you pissed around in your youth and you didn't do that, cool. Start now. But trust me, it's just armor. Like, I'll tell you now, like, I don't get as much injuries now being like 10, 15 kilos heavier than when I first started to the injuries I was having at the time. So, yeah, lift weights for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, for sure. I get everyone like coming in, like clients that come physio, and after we do the rehab, I'm always like, okay, let's get you on an S&C, and I actually tell them every time. It's like 15-year-old came yesterday. I'm like, bro, like if you just start lifting now twice per like week, bro, imagine how big and jacked you're going to be when you're 18, 20, because your increase in tests because of puberty, it just skyrockets. The only way you get that is if you take PEDs again, yeah? You have one opportunity. It doesn't mean that like, if you miss out, don't keep lifting, but you have such an increased spike in tests that it's like, bro, it's so good to lift.
Want to take use of it.
Recover and produce. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're a raging super factory.
Yeah.
It's working overtime. Workers don't need fucking sleep. They're like, yep, let's go.
Yeah.
That's why you're horny all the time as a fucking teenager, man. That's what you are. You're like, tests.
Did you start lifting before or after you started doing jiu-jitsu?
After I started doing jiu-jitsu, like the first couple of years, I wasn't doing it. And then when I moved to Australia when I was 20, and I was like, nah, I'll start doing this. You know?
Yeah.
I was the same, and I think it does influence your jiu-jitsu. Because I don't know about you, but I was super skinny, super weak. You have to have a good guard. You have to be able, you can't play like that wrestle-up game. You got to have that tricky, good frames sort of jiu-jitsu.
That's the thing, having said that, because it's like, it will make, in a way, it was a blessing in disguise, because it made the technicality there. It gave the technicality.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did mine. I was lifting before, yeah, and I think it's just, definitely.
Didn't you
like-
say when you first started it was a bit like meathead jiu-jitsu
Yeah,
a little bit?
because it's at an MMA gym, so
Yeah.
it's a lot of like just like grinding.
And another thing as well, how many times a week do you guys lift?
Oh, yeah,
I'm like at least three.
yeah.
Three.
I try to get 2 in.
I'm gonna lift today.
But yeah, we'll lift after, yeah. But
Get a
get
pump.
a pump. But I
Get
think
my back-
initially
back
I
and
was a
legs.
bit more like 4 days, and then the more intense I got with my jits, I just started culling back, and now it's like, I think it's just because people think you don't have to lift weights because the whole jiu-jitsu thing don't have to be strong. And I'm just like, bro, like you're man, it's actually such a dumb conversation you have with people because it's
You
like,
know,
bro,
what's the
why-
funny thing
yeah.
as well? Like, it's like, do you lift weights because you want to be good at your jiu-jitsu, or is it because it's aesthetically pleasing? That's another
Yeah.
reason as well. It's like you can be a fighter, or there's like, but you don't look the part.
Yeah,
It's like you see
yeah.
Daniel Cormier,
Yeah,
or you see
yeah.
some guys. It's like, bro, like, are you're a fighter? Like, but you don't look like you're you're fine, aren't you supposed to be in shape? Or like, that's the thing, because you obviously see like in like the comics and like the martial arts movies, you know, you see Bruce Lee and all that really jacked, you know, just that shredded physique, and you're like, oh yeah.
I think a person that's jacked coming into jiu-jitsu can learn as fast as someone that's skinny and having to use technique, but it's more the mentality that they come with. Yeah.
Well, it's if they've got an athletic background again, because you can get guys that are super jacked.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's not really good, because then how have they developed their kinetic chain?
Yeah.
Because you've got to understand strength from that. It's on a nervous system.
Yeah.
So if you look at like, you know, somebody that comes from a footy background, they're going to be athletic. Why? Because they develop the kinetic chain in a way where they can be explosive in multiple planes. They can develop force and power really well, you know?
So they know how to use their body full. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Like, this is another thing as well. Put my own question. If this is gonna be my own one. Okay, if you could, we had this talk before. If you could start at one, like if any sport right now, if you could start one from a young age, what would it be? You can only pick one sport.
Gymnastics.
Nice.
Gymnastics, I think that's the one.
Yeah, gymnastics.
Good. Yeah, gymnastics.
What about you?
Yeah, I reckon gymnastics. Too.
Gymnastics. Yeah.
Steal my answer, bro.
Nah,
You gotta
nah,
choose a different one.
Can't see my answer.
Yeah,
No, gymnastics it's a good one, because you develop strength in all planes and over your own body as well.
I think even like you could probably sport-wise, that would be breakdancing could be quite good. Yeah, just the control. Yeah, like
That 10th planet build, Gio Martinez, Boogie Martinez build.
Yeah, what about you?
It was either going to be gymnastics, okay, there's a few. Gymnastics, judo,
Yeah.
gymnastics, judo, wrestling, or footy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you go, league or union. But either way, those four, I reckon, if you just start off with those four in your youth, I think like you're all round a good athlete. You're done. You're all round a good athlete.
I think if you make a kid for like 1 or 2 years just do like every single sport where they get like somewhat competent, they'll just be able to do everything.
Well, that's why we got Jeremy. One of my students, Jeremy, a little 15-year-old Chinese kid, who's already, he's doing gymnastics. He was a gymnast, and he was doing like weightlifting as well. Like he held the bench for like his age as well, like record, like I think it was like 110, 120 for like 61 or 62 kilos. And he's he's already doing homeschool, this kid. Shout out to Jeremy. If you're it's like 14, 15. Shout out to Jeremy if you're listening to this.
I think
this is a supercomputer. Watch out for this guy.
Even dissecting like judo or wrestling, what are their warm-ups? It's pretty much gymnastics.
It is. But then now it's against it's the resistance. The resistance is not their own body; it's the other person's.
Yeah. So so you get the best of both worlds.
Well, you look at Urush's background. Urush he started polo, and then he went from polo to Greco-Roman. So he's a pretty athletic dude. So, but you see how just building athleticism in your youth is a lot more easier. And there's foundational years. The earlier you start, the better.
It actually seems like Jits has probably gone into a bit more like, I know B teams, like watching B team, they're using a bit more athleticism for their scrambles. Well, scrambles are based on athleticism in a sense. But
in a sense, it's a sport and there's some form of athletic demand.
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to have to be an athlete.
Yeah.
That's just reality.
Well, let's take Nicky Rodborough. I remember there was a video on B Team. He's like, how do I move from this was when he was a brown belt. How do I move from side control to north-south and control? As a brown belt, I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, it's just...
just grab the guy and just hold him down and just control him.
But the best method is so he had a lot of athletic ability, and we have some people here, athletic ability, and they lack the technique, but the athletic ability masks.
Pure strength build.
Yeah.
There's pure strength build, no intelligence.
Literally.
And then you get pure intelligence build. It's like a mage. It's like a mage and a barbarian, bro. It's like completely opposite fucking builds.
But then when you get best of both worlds, that's the best, yeah?
That's when you become
when they know how to put the dog in with the technique, yeah?
Dark mage, maybe a dark mage.
I've got a question.
Battle mage.
What was your guys' like athletic background before jiu-jitsu? Did you guys play any sports? Like what?
Played rugby league as a kid, but I stopped. I stopped after 2-3 years, I stopped playing when I was 13, 14, and I just played video games and smoked weed and jacked off and drank lots of Mountain Dew and ate Doritos. And smoked heaps of weed, That's
not bad.
And watched jiu-jitsu, actually. I started watching jiu-jitsu at like 15. But I'd always been watching combat sports growing up. But that was to my extent of my athletic background.
Yeah.
A little bit of Muay Thai for like 6 months. A lot of long distance running as the youngest, but that's about it.
I remember watching a lot of like BJJ Scout videos before I started doing jiu-jitsu.
Same as me.
Cool.
Yeah, like 2 years. I watched jiu-jitsu for 2 years.
Yeah, before jiu-jitsu, I played like soccer, tennis, just like all the general.
Oh, nice.
strength
Fast change
courses you
direction.
do. Yeah, just like a
Pivot and
bunch of
turning.
stuff.
Pivot and turning. Nice.
What about you?
I was a chubby kid, bro. The only exercise I used to get is
The bike?
Bike to Civic, borrow out a game, finish the game, and then return.
But I remember you told me about this story, bro. What's the thing? Weights at Zars, and you're like, yeah, bro, it got bad. It got bad.
Oh man, I used to try to clock games in one day and then just return them. I was so addicted.
What were some of the games you were playing?
Oh man, like this
Well,
is like Gears of War 2, Gears of War, just like any campaign games. Like just used to. I remember I would borrow a game. I would call Civic in Calnville, and I'd be like, "Oh man, I can't return the game today," and they'd be like, "Why?" And I'd make up like my sister got into a car accident, and then
Oh, this guy, nah, he would take the game back and says, "Oh, it's scratched. It doesn't work. Can I get another game out?" He was one of those guys. He was one of those guys. He would deliberately scratch the game.
Yeah, I remember one time.
What a fucking
I
dick.
called them up, and then I was like, "Oh, I can't return the game," and then I was like, "They're like, why?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in Ipswich," and they're like, "Why are you borrowing a game when you're in Ipswich?" And I just hung up. Yeah, just hung up. yeah, literally. But yeah, but I did a little bit of rugby too and all that. But I wasn't crazy good at any like particular bit of rugby, bit of tennis, probably a bit younger.
Just
but
gave you purpose.
yeah, it just gave me purpose, bro. It changed my life. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my question. I think that was the only one. Yes, this is one I was thinking about as well. If you could, who do you think, okay, over the years, decades, who has been like your top 3 or top 5 representatives of grappling in MMA? It doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu guys. For yous, who is like your favorite guys throughout the era of MMA, and who's been the best representatives of grappling, or who do you think's applied grappling the best for MMA?
I think first one that comes to mind is Damien Maya. Just
Maia.
like consistent, you know what he's gonna do. He's gonna go for that single leg. He's gonna take you down. He's gonna get the back, and he's gonna try and choke you from
Single
there. And just
dog
that
fight.
he just did it so well. Like I think he even had Kamara Usman's back, but
that
then they
fucking
reset
standing-
it. Yeah.
That standing cross-body right up against the fucking cage.
Yeah, and it's like,
Dude.
Khan, what are you doing? Why would you
and then
reset that?
That was like one of the biggest fuck-ups, bro. Like, that would have altered the course of history.
Yeah.
Imagine if Damien won that, bro.
Oh, dude, that'd
that
be
would have
crazy.
been shocking.
And he started jiu-jitsu pretty late. I think he was like 21 or something.
He got his black belt pretty fast, 3 years.
Yeah. I think he was studying journalism. So we got Damien Maya.
I think he just mixes it well. One of the most exciting, Charles Oliveira. I think mixing in the leg game, like he mixes in the leg game to the come up and all that. Like
The best one was watching him hit that reverse calf slicer.
yeah,
Back in the day, that was gangster.
he mixes it in quite well. I like his type of he just like throws everything. I think there's a role with him rolling with Mika.
Yeah, there is.
That was good.
Mika
yeah.
sorts him out.
Yeah, but yeah, he's sick for jits. Yeah, yeah.
Mine's actually, I got too many. But I think nowadays it would have to be Khabib and Islam.
Yep. Yeah.
Those two, just because they do use the submissions as well, but they just know how to hold people down, and the dilemma of sort of isolating the lower body, forcing you to use your upper body to deal with that problem of them pinning your lower body, and then as that's happening, giving you that dilemma with the strikes now, so you're having to cover up, and so they can advance position, ride you out, etc.
Who do you think's better, Islam or Khabib?
Islam is more well-rounded.
Yeah.
I think he's more the complete fighter, but Khabib excels in that one area of grappling. But if we take it out as a complete fighter, I think Islam is the better fighter, just because he can strike. He's a southpaw.
Yeah.
He's really good. He's really good at counter punching. He's really patient. Now he's very patient.
Do you think he beats JDM?
There's only 2 ways I see that fight going, man. I see JDM either sleeping or him getting wrestle fucked. Like, that's the only 2 ways I see it going, because you got to understand, going up to 170,
15 pounds, 7 and a bit kilos.
Yeah, 77.
quite a bit.
Yeah, and like JDM's a big fucking guy.
He's always been at welterweight.
like,
I'm pretty
and he's
sure.
a big boy, bro. He's a big boy. Casino was telling me when they were hitting pads one time at the back of a tunnel. He was holding pads for Alistair, and then Madalena was there, and he was just saying, fuck, how massive Madalena was. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, and because Madalena's clean, he's got some good boxing as well. He's a southpaw as well. He fights in and out of southpaw,
No.
so he's a good switch hitter. but he's got good mat wrestle to get back up. He's got good mat wrestling to get back up.
He does.
And he's not the type of guy to when they sort of get back up after being held down for extended periods of time, they're not.
Yeah, stopping.
He gets up and he's ready to go.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
having said that,
He's good at the dirty boxing. I feel
well,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why I think he can get Islam, but
Yeah.
Islam is pretty. He's pretty crafty in the clinch, as you've seen.
Yeah.
Like over unders, holding your glove or
Gloves,
holding your
yeah.
wrist, pulling you through,
Yeah.
using that to like sort of sasai or diashi you.
Yeah.
He's got a nasty Thai clinch.
Yeah.
Who
Oh, yeah,
knows?
Charles and Ilya is this weekend too.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good match as well. I see Ilya knocking Charles out or Charles subbing on Ilya.
Well, I saw a comment.
But I think there's a high chance of Ilya knocking him out because
Yeah.
Charles likes to trade too much.
Yeah.
Like you see it, he's so passionate. He loves it. He loves that fight. He loves that thing. You know.
What was it? He was in the back when. Oh, bro, this is crazy. Where he was in the back and he was crying just before his fight with Daniel Dariush.
Oh, Benil
Dariush. Dariush. Yeah. He was just crying. That was pretty sick.
Do you know Bob fought Charles when they were blue belts?
Oh, legit.
You
Yeah.
beat him, eh?
Yeah, Charles got him. Yeah, it was in an open
Bob,
weight.
Bob also beat Buchecha at a blue
Yeah,
belt
Bob
as well.
used to beat Buchecha quite a bit, apparently.
Yeah.
But apparently it was an open weight. It was Bob's first open weight. And he saw Charles. He's like, oh, this skinny kid. Like, I'll beat the crap out of him.
They
And then
always
Charles took his
see
belt.
this always happens, eh? But
Yeah.
like when I used to do open weights, like coming up through the belts, I always used to get that all the time. Used to see his coach, yeah, he's a small guy. You're gonna
Yeah, just crush
smash
him, bro.
You're gonna smash him, or even the dude's misses, eh? And I like fucking break the dude's leg, and they're all looking at me shocked. I'm like, yeah, fuck.
Do you love it when the corner's like, he's getting tired.
Yeah,
Look
and
at
then-
him, he's tired.
And then you
He
fuck
looks
him up.
like shit.
You fuck him up, and they all look over, and they're like, oh, you just like shattered their dreams. They like ruined the whole weekend.
Oh, one grappler. Do you remember Alexei Olenek?
Yeah, oh, what, the Nogi Ezekiel guy?
Nogi
From
Ezekiel
Bottom Mount.
Yeah, pulls bottom
Bro,
out.
he won like nearly 10 matches in a row doing that.
Ridiculous. And then he has a good Kezagatame as well.
Yeah, he beat Krokop with that.
That's
He
crazy.
kizzed Krokop.
I think that was like the first submission I was like hitting out wipeout was like the Nogi Ezekiel.
Well,
Because my arms are so skinny.
That was my first ever sub in the gi.
Oh,
in the
really?
gi inside their closed guard.
that
Kill somebody.
happened in Worlds, in the finals of Worlds. Didn't it?
There was somebody got put to sleep.
Yeah.
Wait, you were in their close guard or
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
in
yeah,
your close
subbing
guard?
them in their
nice.
close guard.
Freaking
Yeah.
hell. It's the
But
white,
yeah,
white belt tech.
That was the question though. It was for grappling for MMA. Another one I actually got to look at as well would be Matt Hughes.
Yeah.
He was a good wrestler, man, because he was a good collegiate wrestler, and he was that generation of wrestlers that got pushed out into MMA, like, because that's what happened, like, back in the early 90s, or like mid-90s, like, when there was, like, you either go to the Olympics, and then that's it for you as a wrestler, and if you come back, you go back and teach the next generation coming up.
Bro, BJ Penn has some sick grappling.
He did as well.
Bro,
He fucked up Matt Hughes. He
dude,
finished
yeah.
Matt Hughes as well.
Dude, he was doing arm traps from the back before like anyone.
Yep, he was too, yeah. Dope mount, all his mount.
Yeah, that crazy flexibility. Like when he gets him out, he grabs his own foot and like slide it
Yeah,
across.
jailbreak himself over.
Yeah, bro, he's doing some crazy shit.
The CT.
What? Nah, that didn't fucking...
I just remember the good parts.
The CT and hitting the pipe, bruv. don't hit the pipe, bruv. A whole new meaning to running the pipe. But yeah, man. I think we covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
What do you guys
I was
think?
gonna say another Robbie Lawler versus
Hobby Lawler.
versus Rory McDonald. Yeah, I like Rory. Rory's sick, bro. Do you, like,
He's like a watered down version of GSP.
yeah.
Do you remember when he fought? Do you remember the time when Nate Diaz went up to fucking welterweight and fought him and he got ragdolled?
Suplex so
Bro,
many
he was
times.
getting like choke slammed. He was
Dude,
getting
Rory
choke-
with suplex him and just fucked him up.
Rory's super technical. Every time I actually looked on his Instagram page recently to see what he was doing. He's still doing. Yeah. He's still teaching a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Is he fighting?
Oh, not
He
anymore.
was fighting in the PFR, so I remember seeing him lose to Gegard, and that was it. I was like, oh, what's that?
But do you think, like, honestly, part of it must be his nose, bro? Because, like, after what happened with Robbie Lawler, like,
never
getting
the same.
punched in the face after that, bro, like,
It's fucked.
Yeah.
like apparently, I don't know who was refereeing, but they were saying, whoever was refereeing was saying that, like, when the blood was coming into his mouth, like, he'd be breathing it in. So it was like,
Yeah.
blood would be going into his lungs and just
everything.
fucking him up.
Yep.
Yeah. He was
That shit
he
fucks
was
you
good
up.
To watch.
The Red King.
The Red King.
Who's that?
Rory.
Oh, fuck.
They call it the Red King. So.
Oh, wow.
But nah, he was sick. He was a good fighter too. Rate him. He was. Any other questions?
I think that's it, guys.
Scrap Mat. You can talk about Scrap Mat.
Oh yeah, Scrap Mat. Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
You are a sponsor of Scrap Mat.
yeah. But what's
Shout out Jacob, for the
yes.
sponsorship. Appreciate
Jacob? Scrap Mat 8-man tournament.
Who's running that?
Adam Jones.
Adam Jones. Yeah.
But is he running it up here or down there?
Adelaide.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you're sponsoring already?
Yeah.
nice. Good on you, bro.
That'll be sick.
Fucking good man.
8-man tournament. I think
Even in the
prize-
rain, I think. All terrain.
Yeah. It's like, do you
It's like
remember-
outside. If it starts raining, apparently they're gonna keep going.
Do you remember old school Kimbo Slice type fighting?
It's the Kimbo Slice. Well, that's making that big comeback now because now the big presence of social media. It's actually gained a lot of traction. Dan
Did you see
Hawker.
the guy that fought Andrew Tate? I think it was like his 12th video or something, and he like just went up and up and up, and then he got to fight Andrew, which is just crazy.
That's nuts.
Andrew Tate, fuck.
But yeah,
Imagine going to fight Andrew Tate and you just double leg and like pull, just pull straight away and then inside heel. Get like whoa.
Right.
That's like instant, bro. You definitely the camera's turning off and you're getting killed. The camera's getting turned off and you're getting killed, bro.
But no, it's an 8-man tournament, blue and purple belt, and I think the prize money's
$500,
Yeah,
$200
$500.
or
Yeah, that'd be pretty.
But we
sick.
did an 8-man the other week and we gave the winner of it $300. And when it was to like 150 and he's like the bro's like, no, we're chucking an extra 150 and it's like 300, bro. And he's like white belt one, bro, and he's like, yeah,
Bro,
$300.
It's actually good.
That's like I don't know.
It's good that places are giving people money because at the end of the day, like you cook your ankle, you got to go and see a physio, you got to go
Well, this is the thing is MMA, like MMA fighters at least get paid.
Yeah.
Jits guys, they're like, what do you get for winning the comp? And it's like, I actually paid
paid,
money.
yeah,
It's like
I
minus
paid, yeah.
minus $90, minus
Shout
110.
Shout out Pounded because what they do, they didn't make members pay like the competitors pay.
Oh well, yeah. Shout out to Seb for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I helped Seb get people for that, but
And
yeah,
then-
Seb did a good job.
And then on top of that, they gave prize money, and I think it's just like a good way. It's a good way to attract people. Like, if people are getting injured trying to win a comp,
Yeah.
at least just comp, and even if it's nothing significant, $300, like it's good, but like at least it makes it feel like
That's
you're
like
doing
rent.
it for
That's
something.
like rent for some people.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's rent in your share
Yeah,
accommodation.
Share accommodation.
Bro, you know how like states they like charge you to like come
Yeah.
in, like if you're a participant, like that's
Oh no,
kinda
they
dumb.
didn't. I didn't get charged.
I didn't get charged
'Cause
if
it-
you're a black belt, you
Well,
get
well,
charged.
I just walked straight through.
Dude, I had to
just walked straight through. But,
leave me
no,
alone.
they didn't even say anything. I just walked straight through.
Yeah.
Bro, I had to prove myself to the
That you're
guy.
a black belt, eh?
Yeah, I'm a black belt. He's like, prove it. And then I had to bring up my IB. And then I see like 10 Brazilians come in. They're like, oh yeah, of course, bro, come in. I'm like, fuck this.
Just prove it, bro.
And it's always that same guy. I always see him, and I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him out if I see him.
Yeah, fuck
How
that guy.
crazy that like even worlds like IBJJF worlds like all like the people besides first are paying money just to sign up, and it's like a big amount of money, and literally
Well, I think if you win the worlds as a black belt, you get free. It's free registration.
Yeah.
Every year.
For
after.
life?
Yeah, for life. After
if
that,
you win it as a black, you
Yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
be the winner prior, like the
no,
year
if
prior.
you win it as a black belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has Andy
what Josh Ringo
Murasaki
said.
ever won?
No, I don't think so.
He's never won.
He made it to the finals, but then he lost to
Matthias Gabriel.
Yeah, which is
Just,
crazy. He won
just,
quite a while ago.
Just as well,
Yeah.
because I saw that last 30 seconds. He was on a single.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And Matthias Gabriel had what injury? I think he's coming back from an injury.
No.
Probably something knee, something rib. Yeah. And then who did he first recently at Asian Open? Igor Tanaba.
Tanabe and Ariel Tabak.
Yeah.
And then Ariel Tabak got third place.
Yeah, that was sick. That was a sick match. Yeah, really cool exchanges. I only just saw the highlights, but it seemed like it was sick.
Man, fuck. I'm sorry. I need some
Okay.
coffee.
Any other questions?
That's pretty much it. We actually covered quite a bit, huh?
Yeah.
You look like you wanted to say
Yeah,
something.
do you remember when Devin, I think it was like a 10th Planet quintet thing?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Devin ran through like 4 or 5 people,
Yeah,
like, all by
well,
rear naked choke?
yeah,
I've never seen footage of it.
Nah,
though.
we actually were talking about this.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, actually. Me and
This
him
was
caught
long
up.
hair Devin.
Yeah, long hair Dev.
hair,
Yeah, we caught up a few weeks ago. We were caught up and had dinner, and we were at Mines, and we were talking about. I talked to him. I remember asking him about that, and he's like, "Yeah, it's like they beat 2 dudes from 10 Planet, and they got him in, and he just ran through the whole team." He told me he ate in a steamer lock.
Yeah.
He ate in a steamer lock, and it just went pop, and everybody went silent in the hall. And they're like, "You good?" And he's like, "No, yeah, I'm fine."
Where was it? Dude,
This
where-
was over in Perth. He was telling me, or Adelaide, I think, and he said Ash Williams was there.
Oh, that's pretty
And
cool.
he said Ash was asking him. So yeah, asking
Devin's
about how to.
sick.
He is, man. Like, dude, that guy is like anybody that
Yeah.
like asked me like for a place to train in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Like, where should I train in Brisbane? The first place I say is 10 Planet Brisbane.
But you see, there's a transition phase where it's like, so I've seen Devin rolling, like how interesting. Bob, Urosh, they'll probably be the biggest people here. And then it's like 20-year-olds. Like, we're just not as big as them, eh? But then it's like, but Devon's definitely more technical. Like, I
Oh,
would say,
dude,
yeah.
he's like your
Yeah.
size. He's
Yeah.
like he can blow up to your size, even
Yeah.
bigger. But
Yeah.
like, dude, he can cut down quite.
But
a
it's
bit.
like interesting when you see Bob and Devon verse like some of the matches. We might cut this out. It doesn't happen. This is probably just
No,
more
you can-
conversation.
all
But
good.
like Bob out physicals Devon because he's just so big.
Yeah.
But Devon definitely is much better at jiu-jitsu than Bob.
no,
yeah.
you can see the technicality there.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. It's like when you roll with people. My analogy is like when you roll with when you roll with a chick or whatever, a kid, and you have to get forced to take physicality out,
Yeah.
and you try to finish the technique and go technique for technique. You're like, whoa, fuck, my actual technique's actually not as good as this person's, you know, and it's an eye opener.
Yeah. But no.
Yeah. But yeah, that'd be something to ask him about, I guess, if you see him.
Let's
Or if
get
we
the
get him on.
footage.
If we
I'd
get
love
him
to
on,
see
yeah.
Let's get the footage.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
Awesome. Okay.
Well,
Then-
fucking hell.
Okay.
What else? What do you guys want to call it there?
Yeah, that was good.
Fucking gentlemen.
Us.
It's fucking Fucking good
We'll go to the
episode.
gym now.
go to the gym and get
Get some
lifted.
lifting.
Get some
Yeah.
coffee first.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Us.
Us.
Calling out Bob, eh?
No, I might have to delete that.